One thing that I get asked a lot is, okay, you're talking a lot about sexual development and growing in sexuality and exploring your sexuality, but when do you get to a certain stage? How do you know you've progressed? How do you know that you've developed or that you've grown? Well, here are some things that I've noticed from my own growth and also from the growth of others that I've worked with, how they know that they've developed in sexuality. The first and most important one is that you get a broader understanding and a broader perspective on things that you hadn't considered before. Say you're very carnal and very direct and very straightforward, and to you sex is just about penetration, as much as possible, as intense as possible, with as many or as deep orgasms as possible. Well, one way that you know that you've grown is that perhaps you understand people when they don't really want to have penetration, but they've still developed. So expressing your sexual energy can come in different ways, and when you learn to understand this and acknowledge it about others, then you know that you've grown. Another way you know that you've grown is that you have more patience and more compassion, first of all to yourself when you're going through a tough time. Let's own something. We don't always have the same drive. We are flowing so we're going in vibes or in waves in our drive and in our instinct, and that's totally normal. All of nature is cyclical, and our sexual impulse is also cyclical. So when we're going through a down phase, when we're in contraction, when we're in just a point of rest, total rest, we don't freak out. We don't start to worry and start to judge ourselves, well, I should be in a certain way. We have more understanding and we have more patience and compassion to ourselves in those moments. Another way that you know that you've grown is that you're more intentional. You're more intentional in the things that you do, or you're more intentional in the things that you don't do. Yes. So it's not that everything that comes your way is a good opportunity for you to do something and you always take them because you should. No, with intention, you're starting to ask yourself, okay, why do I do this? What do I want to express? So if something isn't exactly according to your intention, then it's okay to say pass, to select things. This is how you know that you've grown. Depending on the growth process that you went through, and especially if you did body work or you worked with somebody at events, so live events where you were there in presence, physical bodily presence, or you did one-on-one coaching, you know that you've grown because you're more present with your physical body, with your physical sensations. You have a better way of feeling into the imprints of your sensations, the imprints of your emotions. And you learn to have a vocabulary to express when you're agitated, how it feels physically for you, when you're relaxed, how it feels physically for you and where you feel it in the body, when you're rattled up, how it feels physically for you and where it feels. And you learn to spot when you're in this place. And obviously you can choose, because with awareness and with growth comes choice. You can choose if you want to do something, if you want to act on those emotions or not. This is not an easy process, and it's not necessarily overnight. So it takes time, but you know that you've grown once you start to become aware of these things, and once you start to become better at embodying them. I'm not saying that you'll always be happy. I'm not saying that you'll always be exciting. I'm not saying that you'll always be positive. By the way, we go through positive and negative states. I'm not saying that you're always going to be perfect. Yeah, whoever is perfect out there, I would like to meet that person also. I'm only saying that you become more conscious and more aware of everything that goes on through you, with you, in your body, and you're becoming more conscious of what you're doing to others. And again, I'm not saying that you're going to be perfect, but with this awareness, you can choose. You can choose to keep doing them. That's totally up to you. You can choose to make small shifts, and you can choose to make big changes. That's entirely up to you. Another way in which you know that you've grown is that you don't get so rattled up by critique and by negative feedback or negative comments that you receive from people that you interact with, either potential lovers or your actual lovers. This part, let me tell you, no matter how much you grow, it's never going to be easy. Receiving critique, receiving a negative comment or feedback, receiving a negative answer to something that you've done is never going to be easy. And the only thing that I can say here is that you don't get so rattled up by them. They're no longer such a big drama. If somebody breaks up with you, yes, you're going to hurt. There are some things that no matter how much you grow, you can't grow out of. We're humans. And when something is taken from us, when something that we want, people that we want, groups of people that we want, when we're shunned out, when we're rejected, when we're denied access, when we're left behind, yeah, we're gonna hurt. No matter how much we grow, this is still going to hurt. We have to also acknowledge that human beings are social beings and we need one another. And when we don't have one another, yeah, it's not easy. There are some people out there who are totally fine on their own, but those are extremely rare. The majority of us, when we say growth, we say that we manage things better. We say that we understand that we become more aware of things, and we learn to be more proactive about what it is that we want to bring about and what it is that we don't want to bring about on our path. This is how I see it, at least. And one last way in which I say that I see growth is when people become more selective. Meaning, when people take more time before they either hook up, if they don't want something serious, or before they enter a relationship, if they do want something serious. And when they take their time before they do this, they take their time because they analyze. Is this right for me? Is this something that is a match? Is this something that is going to build or grow on the things that I want to grow? Is this just enjoyable, pleasurable, but it's not going anywhere? So you're asking yourself a few questions. You're taking your time and you're making sure that even if it's a one-night stand, is this person really, do I feel that I'm going to enjoy myself? Is this going to be worth it? So growth does bring that about. And with growth also comes the possibility that some people will leave your path. And with this particular aspect, it actually becomes more obvious to you that the people that maybe you were once close to, you can't be anymore. You don't connect so well because you just don't do everything that they do. And that's not a bad thing. That's a shift in your values as opposed to theirs. And that shows that you've grown a little bit apart. It's not necessarily bad. It's a natural result. And you gotta trust your own evolution. You will meet people with whom you resonate. And you'll thus begin a new cycle, a new episode, a new relationship, new interactions. This is how you know that you've grown. Growth is not bad in and of itself. Growth is transformation. Growth is change. It can be painful sometimes, but change will come, obviously. And if you just embrace it, you know that you've grown, you go on your way, and other people definitely go on their ways. The way I see growth, for instance, if you're following this channel, it's in the work that I do. So I've had tons of ups and downs. I've gone crazy. I've gone up walls. The walls of my room, the walls of my house, the walls of, I don't know, other people's, my friends' houses and so on. Yet, there still has been growth. So, first of all, my social media grew, and I was super happy about this. And I hope that the value that I bring here is cherished and appreciated by people. The events that I've done have become more, I've reduced the number of them, but they've become more intense. When I do events, yes, everybody feels it. The one-on-one coaching sessions, they've changed a lot. And actually that was one of the major shifts that I've had in my third year. And it took a lot of guts for me to make that shift. And one-on-one coaching is not so frequent nowadays because it has more conditions. But the people that do take it, yeah, those are the ones that are worth it. One last thing that I have, which is an important growth for me, is that I have my online trainings. I had them from my second year. I published them on the biggest e-learning platform out there, which is Udemy. And this was with the help of somebody in my community, because somebody was following me. I had a major down moment. It lasted for several months, and I was quite scared, actually. I was quite scared of it. And this person actually, when he saw me, he was like, okay, you have something and it's valuable. You just need to put it somewhere else where people are already accustomed to buying these, accustomed to consuming these. The place where you're putting them, that's okay, but there are people out there who would love this, who would value it, they would buy it. Tons of people. I have over 2,000 students since last year on my Udemy courses, and this is amazing, actually, for me. 2,000 students online, yeah, and it's growing. So, and this came from my community. This was a beautiful surprise. So this is how I know that I've grown in my work. Yeah, there are many things that I can learn. There are many things that I can develop. I'm very conscious of these. There are challenges and struggles, and there are days when I fail and I suck at things. And I'm like, oh no, what happens with me? Why am I doing this? How can I be doing this? But it's part of the process. So this is just to show, you know, how it is. You can check out the details under the video with the third year report if you're curious. And otherwise, do take whatever you find useful, actually, from this video. And I'll see you next week, and I'll see you from now on with other resources. I hope that they help you, and I hope that you grow. Slowly, fast, it doesn't matter how much or in what speed, in what rhythm. I hope that you grow. And yeah, that's it. Enjoy. Bye.